I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, and I'm located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Monroe, Washington. And welcome to Wheel Talk. Okay.
All right, we're live.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Merry Christmas.
We're in different places today. Merry Christmas to you, too. Post-Christmas,
where are you today?
day after. So I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and my in-laws, they're in their bonus room. So it's like my father-in-law's like man cave area. He's like an antique person, so he's got so many.
What is that? There's like a cool cabinet behind you on your right, I want to say.
That's a pinball machine.
Oh, that is badass. That is so cool. It's like so
and it's got flight
so
attendants on it, actually.
Modern.
It's got flight attendants on it. It says Bon Voyage.
That is so cool.
I think I got the high score on it. I don't know. It doesn't say the high score, but we had to like handwrite the high score because it doesn't keep it. It's all manual, so it's kind of fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm at my friend's house. I'm house sitting for them. I've already had a visit from the Jehovah's Witnesses this morning.
Nice.
So we've already had an eventful morning. Don't worry, I was nice to them.
Are you still is it still in Monroe, or are you in a certain...
Yeah, I'm still in Monroe. I'm only 5 minutes away from the shop.
Oh, cool.
It's actually really nice. Like, I forgot what it was like to have like a couch and a TV. Not that I really had a TV before, but mostly a couch.
Right.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so how are you doing? How is today?
Today
was Christmas.
Christmas was good. We did the family thing. The day of the week was weird, being on a Wednesday. You know, you got like getting in town Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and then you do stuff with one side of the family, and then you kind of spread it out over the 2 or 3 days and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
did my side on mostly like 2 days before Christmas, and then a little bit Christmas night, and Rachel's side on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day during the like early afternoon. So what about you? Did you go somewhere, or where's your family at right now?
Okay, so my parents live in Colorado.
Okay.
And then I have siblings. I have one sibling down in Kent, Washington, which is a little bit away from me, and then another sibling in Alaska. So
whoa.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You just love the cold there, I guess. Your family just loves the...
Just love the cold. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it was good. It's kind of... I'm sure that a lot of people that have family in other locations understand that... you kind of just go to people's friends' house and then...
Right.
And that's it. So...
Yeah.
But it was good. I'm very grateful that I have one friend that kind of has adopted me as a daughter. And so she always gets me presents.
Yeah.
And this year I got like a bundle of games. Like, it was really fun games, but they're all adult content games. Like
board games or card games and stuff like that?
Yeah, like card games. Like, there's one like Cards Against Humanity, but it's not. It's called New Phone Who Dis. and then there's other ones. There was like a drinking game, and she like went hardcore with a theme. So I'm excited about that. We already played a few of them.
Nice.
They were fun. And
we always get some games like that. We played a lot of Exploding Kittens over the last 4 days, so.
Yeah, and I got the Unstable Unicorns, the adult edition, which I already have the regular one.
Oh, I haven't heard of that game.
It's fun. It's fun. I actually first heard about it from Tim Ceramics.
Oh.
He was playing it.
Nice.
Yeah. 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 So, okay. What are we talking about today, Ryan?
All right, so it is December 26th right now when we're recording this, so we're getting right to the last like week of the year. So we're kind of reviewing where we're at for 2019. Kind of do a little update episode about where we left off at one of our transition from fall to winter episodes, or whatever that we recorded back in October. So we're kind of giving you a little update on what we set goals for ourselves then to right now to at the end of the 2019. So we're kind of like recapping that, and then we're going to go over kind of where we ended on goals for the year, whether we made them or didn't make them, and then hopefully we'll break this next part up into a separate episode where we actually go forward and look to 2020 and how we're planning out goals for that.
Yeah, and while I was telling you what I was doing, I was actually going into my banking and QuickBooks being like, oh crap, I haven't added all this income. So,
nice. So you ended up with more than you expected?
I think a little bit, yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. There's still a little bit of money in here, but I'll just leave it. Because I don't know where it goes right now. But
so where did we leave our episode where we set goals for ourselves? I want to say it was the last 3 minutes of the transitioning from fall to winter episode.
It was.
And we set goals for how much we were going to make through the end of the year.
No, you set goals for how much total you were going to make, and I set goals for how much I wanted to make
from October to the end of the year. Yeah.
Yeah. So my goal for selling in October was $20,000, and your goal for selling total
for all of 2019 income only.
Income was $20,000.
$25,000.
$25,000. Okay. Yes. Keep in mind that he has a much different business than I do. Yes. I feel like we don't have to say that because a lot of people who have listened to this have heard us in the back. But I own a brick and mortar. He works in his basement. So our goals are very different.
Right. I have a lot fewer expenses than you do.
Oh, yeah. Because my expenses are right up there with my income this year. Okay. Right. Well, I want to hear about you. Let's hear what you did.
Yeah, so between October 1st and the end of the year, I exceeded what I thought. I think I was at around 17.5 or something like that at October 1st. So I expected to get to 25K, which is about another 8,000. I ended up ending the year a little over $30,000.
What? Awesome.
So I don't know if that's a factor of we were picking those numbers in the moment, and I actually re-upped my number once or twice when we were talking because...
Yeah, he did.
And I think my number was a little outdated when we recorded. So I had a couple, maybe a show or something that wasn't on there yet. But yeah, I ended up exceeding what I thought I was. I thought 25 was a stretch, but stuff like that.
Apparently not.
So, yeah, which is really good. So we'll have this. While you're doing your recap, I'll look at where I ended the year in 2018.
Okay.
And yeah, so how did you end the year? Did you meet your selling 20,000 in Q4?
Yeah. So my goal was to sell $20,000 in the quarter, and right now. I'm going to share two different statistics, I guess. But right now in Square, my sales in Square are right at, my gross sales without taxes are at $18,939. But with taxes, it comes up to $20,000. So I don't know if that counts or not, but
I included taxes on mine.
Yeah, and then
there's no Etsy fees and stuff removed from that.
Right.
So that's everything.
Total income in QuickBooks, however, is $24,645. So I have exceeded that goal, and I think that I'll probably still do, still kind of exceed that goal. like I don't. It's not over. It's not over.
It's not over.
I
You still got
have
5 days.
yeah. I still have 5 days, and those days are partly weekends. So I should do another $1,000 hopefully. On
Nice.
Christmas Eve, I did $1,400.
I was gonna say, you were telling me your paint a pot stuff, and like people were
Yeah.
buying your pottery at the shop
Yeah.
that was, wheel thrown and all that. It wasn't
That was like a huge
Bisqueware?
surprise because last year on New Year's Eve or on Christmas Eve, I sold like I don't know, like $200, and then the day before that, which is when I sold them the large amount of money, I sold like 400. And this time I like was so busy, and then I went to get lunch at like 3 o'clock, and I was like, oh, I should look at my numbers, and I looked at my numbers, and it was like 700, and I was like, what? When did that happen? And then all of this other money came in. Like I had a custom set that was like $300, so that came in, and all this other money came in, and I was like, $1,400. And
Whoa.
what was great about it is that nobody came in the last hour, like from 4 to 5. No one came in, and so I just sat down, and I just was like, holy shit. I just sat
You're like, we
for
killed
an
it.
hour.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I am quite happy with my end of the year quarterly amount.
Yeah.
Especially because this quarter there's a whole lot less expenses. That's what I'm mostly excited about. There's
Yeah, definitely. Because
way
you already have
less.
you already had all your bisque import stuff. That was
Right.
all there. You have all your paints and glazes and all
Yeah.
that stuff. You don't have to buy.
Yeah, I've been working really hard on doing less expenses. So, yeah.
Nice. I just looked up my 2018. It looks like my income for the year 2018 was a little over $13,000.
Huh.
And I sold a little over $30,000 this year.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Pretty good.
More than doubling.
Yeah.
More than doubling. Hey, this is good. So last year, sorry, that was my phone. Last year total, ow. Oh, my ear was itchy, and then I just smushed it, and I smushed my earbud into my ear more. Last year my total was 74,520, and this year I am above that, barely,
Yeah.
with 80,785. So I
Did
thought
you-
that I was going to be neck and neck this year, so I'm pretty happy with that.
When you were early on, like I am, like 3 years or 4 years into selling, like,
Yeah.
were you seeing just big fluctuation and growth?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you're investing somewhere. I mean, I can't expect like 200% growth, obviously. But when people look at it and they're like, how did he sell that much more? Like, I sold at 24 shows. Last year, I sold at like 18. That added so much more. And I was picking certain shows that sold more. I had some really good ones.
Yeah.
Like,
So I don't know if I have I'm pretty sure I do. So in 2000, okay, so in 2018, we're in 2019 right now. Okay, this must be wrong. But here, let's go down to 2017. 2017, which I didn't have the store until December of 2017. Oh, that's why. I didn't have the store until December of 2017. I did 46,492. And then in 2016, I don't know if that's in QuickBooks, but we'll see. It's not. But I remember it was half. I doubled. I
yeah.
was at like 20, I think. I want to say I was at 20.
Right.
And I the first 3 years of business, I doubled my sales. Not my profits, but I doubled my sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also all of my income numbers include, like if I get an income line item for Etsy, it includes like if a person buys the item plus their shipping.
Right.
And then there's a expense side of it that has Etsy fees that's going to negate some of that
Right.
was paid out, like shipping and Etsy fees and stuff like that. So just be aware if you're listening to this and you hear that number is not all income without any like expenses, or like there's taxes in there and stuff like that. Just to keep it easier for me, it's easier for me to do that.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I don't know where shipping is in here, but it should be. But, oh, this is kind of interesting. My utilities for this year was $12,564. My rent this year was $21,040 so far. Huh. That's a lot.
What's that, like $2,500 a month or something like that?
It's $1,800 a month.
$1,800 a month?
Yeah, but then I also have an office space is $300 a month, so it's $21. Yes.
Nice guess.
Nice guess. So okay, you had some goals. Let's go over those. So you had goals for this year.
Yes, I have a lot of goals.
It's crazy, actually. He sent me the list, and I was like, I can't compete with that.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to look up like how you would set goals, we can maybe talk about this more in the next podcast, but I would say look up SMART goals. And SMART is just an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So it helps you get goals set that are like have numbers associated with them, or something that you can, measure easily. It's actually within the realm of possibility. You're not just setting some crazy goal that you don't have any data to prove that like you have a chance of reaching it. It's something that's attainable. It's relevant within like a year's time span. I'm not going to say that I'm going to go full-time pottery like in 2020. Like that doesn't seem reasonable to me now. And that might not make sense for my business. So like have something that's relevant and then the time bound is just within a reasonable time that makes sense and is achievable. So you can look that up, but I guess we'll just go through some of these. I had a couple just overarching like categories that just kind of focus myself in a very high level for the year. And the first was like increase sales overall through various platforms and produce more regular customers. That's a very vague statement that has nothing that's measurable on it. So what I did was I went inside this and broke each of these down into a part of my increase in sales and what that means, and like increasing across multiple avenues and measuring those. And then the other one is improve relations within the local clay community. So that's just a general statement about something else I want to focus my effort on. So the first one was adding 175 names to my mailing list. And
did you make it?
I did. Last year I started 2018 with 164 names on the mailing list. And then I kept track of what I added in 2018. So I added 125 names in 2018. And I said I was going to add 175. So, 50 more. I'm doing more shows. So that gives me more opportunities to ask customers to sign up at the point of sale. Like in Square, you can have a screen that requests them to, if they want emails to be added to the mailing list. And then the main driver was doing the giveaways at the shows, where people sign up for the mailing list.
Wait,
they
you can do that
get a
in
chance
Square?
to win whatever piece I'm selling I have on display at that show. So that's the main driver of getting people on my mailing list. And I added 217. Go ahead.
You can do what? Wait, explain the whole Square thing.
So it's Square. There's a screen at the end at signature. You can say, I want to say it requests them if they would like more information.
I thought
They
it was
can add
just
their
for a
email
receipt.
address. Well, they can do that, but there's also a screen right after they sign it or right after they do the payment. It'll have a screen that says, would you like to get more information or, put your email address for offers or whatever. It basically automates the screen right after it. I want to say it's in your settings and probably your checkout settings or something like that.
Well,
it has an option in there. I don't really use it much anymore just because I don't like require the customer to sign because you don't need that with any credit cards now. So, if you go to settings and go to signature and receipt, that might not be it. But there's a thing that you could do at the end that collects their email if you'd like. Email collection. If you're on settings, there's an email collection line item. Yeah. Add a screen after checkout inviting customers to sign up for your mailing list. This will only appear if a customer has not signed up for an email receipt. So that's an option. And then it's like a passive way that you can request it. And it doesn't put as much pressure on you to ask them.
Yeah.
But
I'm
that's a way.
pretty sure that Andrew just says, "Hey, can I have your email?" and he just gets it.
He just adds it automatically.
Yeah. Because can I have your email for future whatever? And he doesn't give him a choice.
Oh. So I ended the year. My goal was to add 175 names. I added 217. And that also included people that signed up on my website just through like a pop-up form. So I added a pop-up form on whatever pages that would automatically add them into my MailChimp account, which is where I put everybody. And I probably got another maybe 10 or 20 from that.
Okay, I have another question. Do you, when you add it to your email, like when they have their email on here, do you import it into MailChimp later, or do you just use it?
You're talking about on the Square side?
Yeah.
I turned that screen off for, I think, the whole year. So I have not. I want to say that you can go to customers and see that they've signed up. I would probably manually transfer it from Square to MailChimp.
Okay. It looks like you can export customers. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So the end of the year, my total list is about 381 people, which is good. And then I'll add a new goal for next year that adds to that within reason of, how many I added this year. And that's going to give me an idea of what's realistic for being added for next year. Okay. So that's one of the that's part of the produce more regular customers side of it. The next one was selling at 10 shows minimum 4 juried, and minimum of 2 new shows. I actually didn't break down the juried and new, but I sold at 24 this year. I didn't really gauge that one very well.
No?
I sold at like 18 last year, so I shouldn't have said 10 minimum. I probably should have said like 18 to like keep in line with what I sold at the previous year. But I did do a minimum of 4 juried. I don't have the number of how many I did that were juried. I want to say it was probably like 6 or 8 probably. And then 2 new. I definitely did more than 2 that were new. It was probably like 8 or so that were new, or 6 or something like that. The next one was get into 2 new shops. So I didn't really specify that this was consignment or wholesale. And I had a couple like line items of some places in mind that I've been thinking about. I had a lead for some people at Joseph Beth at the end of 2018 that I talked with. And then I contacted them, got a line sheet, like got some estimates, and then the woman never talked to me again. So that just kind of fell off the map. So, so that one did not happen, but I did reach out to Silk Road, which is the other place that I reached out to for my yarn bowls. They're like a textile shop in Cincinnati, and I did get some pieces in there. And then I got into 2 other ones. One of them is Codeco, which is the folks that I do my collaboration with. I took some pieces to their shop probably in October or something like that, as we were getting closer to the holidays, and put some stuff in there. I think a few things sold later in the year. So there, and then the other one was the Glass Monkey, which is like they have like CBD products and stuff like that, and like glass, well, I guess glass items for smoking and stuff like that. So they have some mugs of mine, and then they bought some other wholesale stuff at the end of the year. So that was a wholesale order that kind of came around midway through the year. So I hit my 2 shops. I had 3. Let's see. The next one was very number focused. So increase show sales by 40%. And how I came up with this, I looked at what I sold in 2017 from just shows. So 2017 just shows, I sold at about $4,500. And then from there to 2018, I sold a little over close to $8,800. So that I want to say that increase was probably close to 40%. I don't know if I'm doing the 40% right. I think I should. Well, it ended up being 191% of what I sold the previous year. I don't think 40% is the right way to say I increased it by, but and then I gauged what that should be for 2019. So my target for 2019 at shows was $12,260 to sell just from shows for the year, and I sold $17,783 just from shows. So I beat that by $5,000, which is good.
Hell yeah.
So I probably undershot what I was going to sell at shows, which makes sense because I sold at like 6 more shows than I did the previous year.
Right.
And my show selection got better.
Yeah.
With knowing which ones to drop and then which ones to add, or, double down on like what items I should have at this show because it fits that market better. That just improves over time. The more you do shows, the better you get at figuring out what the market at that show is.
Yeah.
The next one was increasing my gallery, whether it's consignment or wholesale sales, by 60%. That number for 2017, I sold a little over $600 worth. 2018, I sold a little over $1,300 worth, so I doubled it. And then my target for 2019 was $2,000, and I sold 3,000 plus.
Okay.
So I doubled it again. And I think that in a breakdown from there, the consignment was about $2,100 of that, and the wholesale was about $900 of that.
Nice.
So I think the way that I achieved that was it takes more time for stuff to catch on that people can find your stuff at these shops. And then as stuff sells at those shops, you can see what items are moving more than others. So you give them more serving bowls, for instance, because I know those are going to sell. Those typically sell within the first 2 months of me delivering them. So I'm like, okay, the next time I deliver, I should deliver like 4 or 5 of those versus 2.
Right.
So that's going to increase my sales, and then just more foot traffic and people get used to seeing my stuff there. Or, I think it's a matter of like, if people shop at certain places regularly, they see certain items regularly. And if they see my pieces over time, like 4 and 5 times or 6 times, they're more likely to buy it because they've seen it a lot. I think that's part of selling something too. Maybe they had in their mind that they saw that, and then maybe it's sold since the last time they were there, or, they got a better reason of like, I was thinking about it, but I didn't exactly know who I would buy it for. And then maybe they got an idea like, okay, I'm thinking this person would like that. I think that kind of builds into it. And then like I'm promoting or like talking about dropping stuff off at these shops and stuff like that. So I'm doing my own kind of promotion or talking them up so people know where they can find my stuff, besides just being on my website, that they can buy it in person at these 6 shops. The next one's talking about online selling. So I had a goal for selling $2,000 minimum online. 2018, I sold about $950 online, and my target was 2,000. I sold 2,900.
What?
So,
Nice.
and if you know me, I do not like the photography side. So
We don't. We're anti-online sellers here.
yeah. So, and I'm looking at my 2019. I actually started breaking down some of these online sales based on the platform, and that could be Etsy, Facebook, or Instagram. And Etsy, obviously, that's just like posting stuff on Etsy and people buying directly on Etsy. Facebook is if somebody reaches out to me directly on Facebook and wants something, and I like help them. So I know that that's like the source of where they came from.
Right.
And then Instagram was just people basically DMing me or, specifically calling out a certain thing that they want to buy through like a story or something like that.
Right.
So Etsy was obviously the highest of those. Etsy was about $2,000 of that. And then Instagram was about close to 900 of that.
Jeez.
So pretty big. Like people are DMing me more now. I think especially when you post stuff in stories and they can see that you're getting it out of the kiln and it's like a one-off thing. It seems very unique, or like they don't have it. What are the chances that it's going to go up on the Etsy shop? So they might DM me and say, "Oh my gosh, I love that. Can I buy that?" And then you just meet them at that and say like, "Yeah, here's the price. Here's, give me your shipping address and I'll give you a total with shipping."
Yeah.
And then you kind of carry through the point of sale and the payment there. So I think that's why it's grown. I'll try to put a little bit more items on my Etsy shop so I can have some stuff in stock more regularly in 2020. And I've been trying to like simplify my photography so I don't hate it so much. So we'll see where that's at in 2020. I'll probably set a goal like 4,000 or something like that, or 5,000, something like that.
Yeah.
The next one was it was that non-show sales make up more than 30% of my total sales. So I don't want to fully rely on just my in-person shows to be everything that makes me money.
Yeah.
So I basically said, I don't want my show sales to be 70% of my total sales, just so I diversify where the money's coming from.
Okay.
And that ended up being 25% of it in 2017, 35 in 2018, and this year it was 41% was non-retail, so non-show, which was good. And my like avenues for selling would be obviously show, which is retail, consignment, wholesale, teaching, online, and then direct. Direct would just be one-to-one. They just contact me and they want something, or it's like a custom order, or it's somebody I know, or it's family or something like that. That's kind of like the other category. It's not really, doesn't really fall in one of the other ones.
Yeah.
So I had a much better spread, I think, not relying on sales. But that's good because like my retail was 60%, but I still sold like almost $18,000 in shows. So I think my growth for this year was, besides just the shows, like I think everything else, like the consignment went up a lot more. The online went up a little bit more, or a lot more. I probably had some more direct one-to-one things because they're previous customers and they're reaching out, or they know me and they're like, I really like this thing you're doing. Can I buy one of those or whatever? There was just more of that overall.
Yeah.
Besides just new customers finding me. So those are most of the tangible ones. I had one that I did not do. It was sell a single piece for $100 or more. I did not sell a single piece for $100 or more.
I thought you did. Dang it.
I did not. I had that bowl that I had for like $115, and you told me to mark it up to $150 and then like have somebody negotiate down to $115.
And they didn't.
Be like,
those
I don't want to take
assholes.
it home with me, but they didn't do it. So I don't think I have enough stock that is in that price range to get sold. So I think I need to make more items that fall in that price range. Right now I have like 2 teapots that are above $100. I have 2 bowls that are over $100, and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
get more.
I sold like multiple quantities of things, like a set of
Yeah.
4 bowls or 4 mugs or something, but I don't consider that one item. So, and then the last one that was it didn't really fall in that category, but it was making experimental pieces to be wood, soda, or salt fired.
Okay.
I do have pieces. I just did not fire them. I technically didn't reach that goal because they were just pieces already made, but I need to like fire them at Queen City Clay. I think is where I'm gonna go because they have the ability to you like pay per pound of what your piece is, and you can like glaze and stuff, and then they'll fire it.
Yeah.
So I want to do that. So I have actually I did do that because I put some stuff in the NKU wood kiln where I went to school at. They did a firing in like May, and I got some pieces in there. So I guess I technically did. But yeah, so I'm hoping to get some. Those are more just for me. I don't really like sell those pieces.
Right.
I just really like that kind of atmospheric firing that is unpredictable.
Yes.
So those are all the sales number heavy stuff. Do you have any like sales heavy stuff on your side?
Well, I was telling Ryan before this that like me and a friend like made this business plan goal situation, and I failed on every single one of them.
Why is that? What were the numbers here? What were the goals you were shooting
and it
for?
wasn't even as much numbers as it was. Well, I wanted to. This is so funny to me now. I wanted to have a gross income of $150,000, and the reason that I wanted to do $150,000 was so that I could pay myself $60,000. And it said $25,000 in Leavenworth sales. I think I ended up doing about 20 in Leavenworth sales, but
Okay. Were you already paying yourself? What were you paying yourself before you threw out the $60,000?
I think I paid myself $9,000 this year.
Then what was it realistic to say you wanted to pay yourself $60,000?
No, absolutely not.
It should
I
have
don't
been
know
like 20,000 or 30,000 or something. So it's
I know. No,
so it's
I know
within
this.
range.
Why are you getting
Yeah.
mad at me? I already said that this was ridiculous.
Okay.
I don't know why we did it this way. I think that we did. Well, we obviously looked at numbers from last year,
Okay.
and I think that we looked at the year before and saw that I had doubled, and then kind of like was shooting for that again.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, in you know, unless it had come from paint your own pot, that was unrealistic just because I as a human cannot work that much.
Yeah.
Like I can't sell that much. The goal was to do $88,000 in store sales, which again would have been great if it was just paint your own pot. That includes membership and like paint your own pot and classes. And then we had a goal for website. See, like the website sales, the goal was $4,000, but I don't even. I think that included flash sales.
Okay.
And then
Where'd you end up with that? Was it like 2,000?
Yeah. So here's the problem. I think that I could have gotten closer to that goal had I not had like a complete mental breakdown halfway through the year, which totally happened. Right? So like
was it a goal overwhelming thing where you're like I'm not going to hit the numbers, or was it
Absolutely not. I forgot the goal immediately.
It was like motivation related and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was just like all the things and like working myself too hard and not being ready for Leavenworth when I thought I would be and all those things, And so I think that these aren't unrealistic goals. Like I think that they could be realistic goals. I just need to kind of move about them a different way. Like start using my resources as, my employees. Um, and one of the goals was to hire an employee full time, which I didn't do. Uh, because it's scary. It's scary to hire a full time employee.
Did you have an employee in 2018?
I didn't have a full time. I've always had an employee. Well, no, I didn't have an employee, but I had an actual employee this year to help with summer stuff, so that was good. But I still kind of like barely made that. I think that the paint your own pot needs to grow a little bit bigger before that employee situation really
makes sense and
makes
will
sense.
self-sustain based on the sales of the paint your own pot.
Right, because the pottery kind of like rests on me. It doesn't really like. One of the goals this year actually is to make more hand built stuff, which means that people that aren't me can make it. So I can teach my employees how to make certain said items and hopefully sell those. And that's definitely a goal, because then that kind of takes the bulk off of me and I can work on specific items.
That allows for growth for sure, because you can focus on stuff that's going to make you more money, and then they can focus on things that are like easy, high profit.
Right, like plant stakes and
low effort items,
press bowls and hand built platters and stuff like that. I'm not saying that hand building is easy. It's not. You definitely have to find the right person that has enough like gentle touch to make hand building like worth it, because I'm not a hand builder, but I know how to touch clay in a way that it's not going to screw it up instantly. And if you just tell somebody that's never done clay before, that never has that doesn't have that like gentle kind of like touch to clay, then it's going to not be good. But I have somebody this year that is totally that person. So nice. I'm excited about that. So, that was, this is so funny. By January 1st, 2020, I will have paid myself $60,000. Ha ha. And.
But would you be able to spend that? Like, would you need to pay yourself $60,000?
I don't need that much money.
Yeah. Okay.
No, like I don't need that much money, nor will I ever need that much money. I'm not that type of person. So, I mean, I have once in my life had a job that I was paid $40,000, and that was plenty. But you know what they say, the more you get, the more you spend, blah blah blah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was going to see, and then another goal that I had was to have my customers, let's see, it was to have 3,000 customers in the year with an average ticket of $50, which that would equal what we projected, but let's look and see.
Oh, I see. So 3,000 times 50, 150,000. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's obviously not going to happen. However, we can look at the average sale and see how much, that was. Item sales. I don't know actually how to see the average sale.
You have to take number of transactions and your total, right?
Yeah.
It's Square or is it QuickBooks?
It's Square. They should.
I thought Square gave you that for the year.
It does. I just have to find it. So I'll find it. And yeah. So I had.
Yeah,
it looks like I had just a little under 1,000.
Okay. Looks like I had 491 sales for 2019, which was up 75% over the year prior. Just on Square.
Where are you looking?
I'm on sales report, and then I did the 1 year.
The sales summary.
I'm on the, yeah, it's in the sales summary overview. Do you see it? I'm on the Square app, not the dashboard app.
There's a difference?
Well, I mean, I just knew that this year.
Are you on your computer or your phone?
My phone.
Ah, that might be it.
Well, I mean, if you're in the, are you on the? Okay, I'm on my phone too. On the dashboard app, it's the same thing. You just do 2019 this year, and it says sales 491.
Oh yeah, mine is my
Average
sales
sale
are
$36 for mine.
Oh well, okay, so this is good. So I hit the goal. I hit half of the goal. So my average sales were $55 per sale.
Nice.
But I sold 984. There was 984 sales. So I feel like, I'm a third of the customers, but I still have that average sale of $50, which is good.
Yeah.
That's an extremely good average sale.
So are you going to plan for 2020 to set that number at like 1,500 sales and average at 50? I don't know if you do 55 again or if you meet the middle between your 50 and where you're at now at like 52.
Yeah.
That way you can have more people but sell for a little less.
Yeah, I think that I would like to have more people. And
definitely.
What's interesting is that my goal was to have $88,500 sales in store. And right now that's at 54,161. So it's actually not that far off of that initial goal.
You just shot too far with the goal.
I shot a little bit too far, but the other sales, like the other numbers, are what I failed in. So the store is actually doing pretty good.
Right.
It's the like the flash sales, the Leavenworth sales, like those I could actually kind of up a little bit. So that's kind of cool.
At what point do you determine that maybe like the paint your own pot should be like its own separate goal section? It should be set separately from your pottery. Because flash sales and Leavenworth, like all those seem like that's tied to your hand building, and the paint your own pot should be like its own set of goals.
Right. So this year, I have it separated in Square. So this year my classes was 12,089. Paint your own pot. I have it set up in a little bit. It's kind of a little annoying, but it looks like my uncategorized, which would be pottery, is like around 20,000, 21,000. And then the rest is paint your own pot.
Okay.
So the majority of it is paint your own pot, except for 12,000 in classes is pretty extreme. So
yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, I guess it just gets hard because there's so many avenues that you can make money in pottery that you're doing consignment and wholesale and teaching and online and paint your own pot and shows. Like, it's hard to just say, I want to hit this one number. You have to, that's why I kind of dug into each of these categories and kind of set my own goals for those.
Yeah.
And then I can kind of look at where I'm at throughout the year and see where I can put my time and investment. So,
see, this is good. This is, listen to Ryan, don't listen to Becca. No, I think that.
Because if you don't hit it, then it doesn't give you as good of a picture of why you didn't hit it.
So true.
You really have to dig in to see why you didn't hit that goal.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, and I mean, like, for me, goals really don't mean anything to me. That's also another thing. Like, setting short-term goals is fine for me. Like, doing the whole quarterly $20,000 goal, like an overhead goal is fine. But, like, setting certain goals has never been a motivation for me. And so when I start, like, not making the goal, I'm like, whatever, it's fine. I mean, like, who's going to kill me?
But you realize that your, like, weekly goals have an effect on the bigger picture goal. That you don't care about the bigger picture goal.
Goals, yeah.
But you can see that like if you don't hit those short-term ones, then it's going to pile up and it's going to cut you short for the year.
I think that maybe for me, as the person that I am, I think that maybe having like a weekly sales goal or a monthly sales goal is better than a yearly goal, because
it's too abstracted. It's not as tangible.
Yeah, because I would much rather be like reset the week, be like, okay, I didn't make that goal last week, but this week I can make it,
Yeah.
I'd rather
and I didn't
like that than a yearly goal.
And when I have all these number specific goals, like, to be honest, I didn't look at this list after I set the goals. I didn't check on it throughout the year. I just knew that I was going to make certain, there's reasons that I set these specific goals, and I put some notes in here of like things that I'm going to do to hopefully reach that. Like for the mailing list, like I'm going to continue to do the giveaways it shows, because that gets me more names on my mailing list. I also put the pop-up form on there. Like that's going to feed it so that that goal can be reached. But I'm not continually like going back and forth to say, am I meeting it? No. Okay. What do I need to do to change? Like I'm just continually doing the little things consistently, and those kind of will work themselves out. I don't have to stress too much about making sure that I hit that number. It's more like keep doing the small things that I kind of planned myself out for the beginning of the year, and as long as I keep doing those, then I'll hit the numbers and stuff that I want to hit.
Totally. Yeah. You kind of have to figure out what way works the best. I think the goals also, it's like kind of, goals are one thing. People can get really discouraged by like the goals that they don't hit. Like, I'm not discouraged that I didn't hit $150,000. Like, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that I'm above the red, actually, surprisingly this year.
Yeah.
And that I've had enough money to support myself this year. And that is what's important. So, I think that, goals are great. Goals are good to see if you actually hit them, like what your numbers are, like, and so on and so forth. But what's more important is your motivation and your like drive to get something done during the day and the week or the month or whatever. So that's kind of, and if that goal makes you like push harder, then do it that way. If like we said, a weekly goal makes you push harder, do it that way. And then, and maybe if you have a weekly goal, add up those weekly goals, put it on a sheet somewhere, don't look at it again, but continuously like think about that. What the week wants to be.
Did you, so my other section of them were improve relations with the local clay community. Some of these aren't really numbers focused, but like, there's some things on here that could be easy things for people to do that they can easily jot something like this down. The first one I did not do was talk and demo informally at NKU to Wheel students, which is Northern Kentucky University, which is my alma mater. I was talking with the wheel instructor at the end of the previous year, wanting to like demo to their students and go in and do that, but I did not do that. But that's okay.
Shame on you, Ryan. Shame on you.
I did. The second one was attend NCCA for the second time in Minneapolis. I did that. Becca and I were there for that. And that the reason that's a goal is just I can easily tack that off. Like I did that, and it overarchingly it's helping me get more closer with the clay community, reaching out, networking, getting acquainted with like other businesses and stuff like that. Like I demoed it for Kentucky Mudworks, so that kind of stuff. Like it's a very
Ryan
basic
is like
goal,
super
I guess.
Good at that.
But that's kind of like what the intention behind that goal was, besides just wanting to see other clay people outside of the internet.
Right. I feel like I've never met anyone else that is like you in the sense of you're like, oh, I'm just going to talk to everybody. And I'm going to like put myself out there and then, hey, do you want to do a live? I'm like, who are you? I like I was scared to do a live with Tim, and I talk to Tim on a semi-regular basis. Like,
Is it
like
because of the audience, or you feel like you're now in comparison to him because you're on the same screen as him, so you're like
no,
in
I
view
just
of
don't
his
want to like
audience?
waste people's time.
Oh, okay.
Like I just don't like I don't know, like I'm a busy person, so sometimes when people are like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" I'm like, "Ah, sure." Like, yeah, I'll do it. you know? But I mean most of the time I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. It's fine." It's not an inconvenience, but I don't know if everybody else feels that way. And
I
so I
think
just
some people will be, they might not be just straight out honest that they don't have time, but most people, when I ask them, or I have asked them, they're usually
yeah.
like, yeah, I need to do this. I need to get on in the studio and work on these things. So scheduling time to do a live with you is going to get me motivated to get in the studio because I need to do this anyways. Usually that's
Yeah,
the
that makes sense.
response versus, I mean, I did get a couple that are like, "Oh, I'm not ready yet," or um, "I'm slammed right now. We'll have to figure something out later," which is fine. Like, I get it. People are busy. I'm not butthurt over somebody denying me wanting to do a live with them. Um,
Well,
so
and also you have there's also a difference between me and you in the sense that you strive for that Instagram analytics, like um your one of your goals, if it's not down there or whatever,
it's
is
near the
like
bottom here.
it's I know it is to get to 10,000 people
Right.
and or to do this, I don't know what it was for this year, but
Yeah.
I don't have that goal. I could give two shits if I have more than 50 followers on Instagram. I don't care. Yes, it has helped me immensely in certain things, but and
Yeah.
like sometimes like in my mind I'm like, "Oh, I should have this many followers," but at the same time I'm like, "You know
Do
what?
I
My
what can I
community
do with
supports
that many
me."
followers? Or would I be burned out from the back and
I
forth and the
know.
DMs and the comments and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, I can barely respond to people that comment to me, as alone, like, let alone, like, and I'm also one of those people that's like, they'll say, "Oh, good job," and I'm like, "Why do I need to comment back? Like, I don't need to comment back." Like, and I'm just super. I guess I'm shallow in that way, or I don't feel the need. It's important, because when I comment on people's things, I don't expect them to reply to me, but I don't even
Maybe
expect
that's
to get
why
a
replying feels like you're extra special for being replied to.
maybe. I don't know. So anyway, Instagram just isn't important to me, and it is important to you, and I feel like it's actually really helpful to you. I'm not sure
Yeah.
that
I think
Instagram.
that's helped my online selling goal.
True, yeah,
That's
and
helped
I'm
some
sure
other
that
stuff for sure. So
yeah, I'm sure that once I start selling online, I'll make it'll you know
you'll see more of the return on it, the
right,
value in it.
totally, but maybe
Yeah.
that'll happen this year, maybe not. We'll see. But
That goal that Becca's talking about, one of my last goals on here, to improve relations with the local clay community. Well, it says local, but increase Instagram following to 10K. I started the year at 5,850. I wanted the 10K because that gives you the swipe up thing on the stories, or
yeah,
and I'll end the year at 14.9K.
dude, killing it.
So I think I'm going to set my goal for 2020 to be a 25K or something like that. And I think the reason I hit that was because I continually posted every 5 days a week or whatever. Continuing those engagement things with replying to comments, posting stories, keeping people informed on what I'm doing on a frequent basis.
Yeah. I
Commenting
feel
on other
like your
people's stuff.
Instagram account is quality and has substance to it, because a lot of people that have Instagram accounts that are like super famous not only did they not grow at a steady rate like you did, but they like don't post stories. They like don't let the only person that I feel like is really good about posting what's going on is Hammerly.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot more
Sean.
stories the last few months, which is good since he's
Yeah,
doing it in his studio.
And I feel like Forest Ceramic Company is really good too about keeping up to date on what's going on. They're really good about that.
Yeah.
Because of they're a team, so they know. And Sean doesn't actually like the social media part. I don't think very much, but his partner does. So but I feel like your Instagram has a lot of substance to it, and people feel like they're actually getting something out of it when you are posting on it. So I'm sure that helps with that.
Definitely. And I like all the back and forth, like questions, and like that's like if I didn't have that kind of feeling about Instagram, then we probably never would have had this podcast, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
So.
Yeah. I mean, we wanted to have the podcast like 2 years ago, but that was from an Instagram live video that we were doing.
Yeah.
So.
The only other things on here for the local thing were plan and lead the Clay Alliance Spring Pottery Fair of 2019, which I did. That was like be a chair of that event, which I did, and I sold like $1,700 in pots there, which is
nice.
Sweet.
I remember that. That was a good day.
Teach 2 paid sessions at Baker Hunt. I actually taught 4, so 1 of each season, and then I taught 3 workshops, like 1 day Instagram workshops.
Yeah.
And then the last thing on the list was to host Pot Swap 2019 for the holidays.
And we did it.
That.
We did it, even though Becca almost failed. I feel like you carried us through Pot Swap, by the way. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. It's so much work. I don't think people realize how much, well, last year felt like more work, but the more people you get in there, more random questions you get, and the more back and forth you have to take care of.
This year, thankfully, we like passed on a lot of the, hey, if your person is getting their package late, please contact them. Don't come through us.
Yes,
that happened.
That helped for sure.
That helped so much this year. But guys, just so you know, Ryan did most of the work. He always does most of the work. I actually do most of the work on this one because I am the one that edits it, which makes me feel a little happier.
Definitely.
But, and I talked him into not doing chapters.
Chapters, yeah.
Yeah, so
we'll have something like that for next year, but I'm foreseeing that we will be moderators for Pot Swap 2020, and we will have a team of people, maybe like 4 people or something, or us and like 2 other people or 3 other people that maybe manage a standalone Instagram account, and they share stuff, and we don't have to do every single thing. The Instagram thing is what took a lot of time this year.
Yeah.
Like resharing stories and all that. Like, it's good that you tag us and stuff, which is what we asked for. But at 200 people, it's my stories get so bogged down. I've got like 15. I probably had like an average of like 25 stories a day between like November and like the end of the year or something like that.
I know at one point, I think I wrote on like 3 of them, and then after like 3 sharing ones, I was like, screw this, I'm just gonna repost it, and that's it. Like if they tagged Pot Swap, that's good. I'll just stay with
go to
that.
Pot Swap.
And I just like repost it, and even if somebody has like an actual post, I just post it up without even saying what it is.
Right.
It was so, towards the end, I'm like, I can't do this. And you actually looked into the Pot Swap tag. I didn't even do that.
Yeah.
Like, you were researching the tag, and I would just wait until somebody shared it on my page.
Yeah. So realistically, we only have so much time in our lives. I have so many other commitments, just like you have so many other commitments, and you have a business to run. Yeah. So stuff like this, that's like for the clay community to help them out. At some point, there's diminishing returns on our other stuff that we're doing. So that's something that we need to like optimize and figure out how to get help with from other people in the clay community. Hey, why does it have to be just us 2? We can just be the founders of it, and other people can like run with it. We can just moderate
Yeah.
how it happens. And
And thank you, Jen, for helping us with the email portion. We never
yes.
said that. And I know
Yeah,
she's going to listen to this. My best friend who knows nothing about clay listens to our podcast every day.
Nice.
So every time, and she sends me questions. She's like, "What is this?" So, but yeah, she helped us with an email automation, which saved our
email merge
asses
stuff.
this year. So that was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Anyway, I feel like we should end.
Yes. We're at an hour and 5 minutes. Nice.
I hope this didn't bore you guys too much, but
This is exactly what goals we had. Like, I'm not hiding anything about my goals for the year. So
I think I hit a little, but not much.
So I hope y'all got some value out of this. And we'll talk about 2020 and get that documented so y'all know what our goals are for that.
Yeah, we'll do 2020 in a week.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Later.
See ya. Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you want to follow me or Ryan, you can follow us on our Instagrams. My Instagram is 5 Lines Pottery Studio. It's the number 5. And his Instagram is at RD Ceramics. That's R as in Ryan, D as in Durban, Ceramics. And we would love for you to follow us, but we would also love it if you gave us a review on whichever platform that you're listening on, and if you tell your friends. We really enjoy doing this, and we hope that we can do it some more and have some great conversations. Thanks!